TMK IPSCO is all the United States and North America assets that we have. Please allow me to thank you, everyone, as well as Eurasia and the Russian Embassy for hosting such a wonderful conference. And also would like to thank you, my fellow panelists, because they have really emphasized a lot of information that I will be covering as well. So I will concentrate a lot of the products and where do we fit in as a manufacturing company from Russia and the United States with the work that you're doing. Just some legal disclaimers. I have to, no choice. Basically, we'll talk about the company, the energy markets, Russia, CS, North America. We'll talk about the new frontiers, which is going to be the Arctic and gas hydrates. The company overview, TMK IPSCO, or TMK, anyway, TMK is a global company. We are located in Russia and the United States. We cover most of the globe, and if we don't cover it, we trust me, we're going to cover it pretty soon. We have a lot of facilities, total of 28 worldwide, about 50,000 people working for us. The domestic markets for the United States and Russia would be represented by 55% of the global drilling activity. So 55% of all the drilling happens between Russia and the United States. That's where the plants are, that's where the main offices are. So in 2009, just to emphasize, TMK IPSCO is only 12 years old. Our biggest competitor is Narison VNM. In 2009, we became the leader of selling tubular products worldwide. In 2010, we sold almost 4 million. In 2011 and 12, more than 4.2 million tons of tubular goods in the United States and Russia. And we continue to hold this position as a global leader, not only by sales and all. Right, so the energy markets. What I'm trying to show in this slide is that in 2011, the energy consumption rose 5.6%, which is the highest since 1972. Now, if we look at the growth for oil, it was 3.1, which is the lowest out of all the fossil fuels. And the gas consumption raised by 7.4%, which is the highest since 1984. Is that fossil fuels are not going anywhere. Demand is going to grow, and we from TMK are there to provide the products as well as all the necessary support to the drilling companies and ultimately the oil companies of the world. This is another slide shows that in 1990, overall 93% of it came from coal, from hydrocarbons and nuclear. In 2010, that's to 92%. So the green energy only were able to penetrate 1% of the market. North American development. So as we can see in 2012, the total amount of drilling rigs was about 1,800. It is prognosed that this year the amount of drilling rigs are going to decrease to 1,600. A lot of industry specialists use that number as an indicator of how much our organization will be able to sell the product. What they don't take into account is that today, as my panelist colleague mentioned, they do a lot of horizontal drilling. So, for example, on the conventional rig, you will probably say it will require 1,400 pieces of tube to do the well. Now, today in a conventional, it will require almost 3,000 for your gas rig and 4,000 for the oil rig. So even though with the new technology, even though the rig count is going to go down, the total consumption of the United States market, which is a robust market of 5.5 million tons of tubular goods a year, will be able to support more than 30% of that. In all the facilities in Russia and all the tubular products we can bring from the products of the United States and what we can bring from Russia. This basically will show you, I know it's hard to see, but on your left would be your oil ridge and place where the string design. This is your basic string design. You will have a vertical length of your regular casing and tubing with a regular connection. That is a American Petroleum Institute that everybody can basically thread it. on your left, you will see the gas bridge. Now, what I would like you to try to see at least is the lateral part of it. That one is required to have, as they call them, the premium connections. The premium connections is basically what connects joints or tubing together, or casing. And that's what this innovation made the horizontal drilling possible today. Now, of course, when you think of drilling just basically vertical, you have a gravity that helping and holding the strength. Now, when you go lateral, and there are wells that go lateral up to 3 or 4 miles nowadays, you apply a lot of stress on your pipe as well as the premium connections. And this is really the key to design and have the innovation and people to basically support all the oil companies in the world and give this new technology to all the companies that are going to go lateral and ultimately go to a more aggressive environments, a bit deeper, and as my panel of colleagues said, in the Arctic as well. So one of the best sellers is the GQX connection, which is a 100% body connection, meaning that you can stress it to the yield, the ultimate strength of the pipe. And the SF connection, this is the ones that we sell the most in Marcellus shale, because this is a gas tight connection. It's 90% of the body, and those are the ones that we're using in the lateral streaming well. Another interesting aspect to mention is one of the reasons why have we built a new facility in Canada is because today 20% of all the imports of oil that come to the United States comes from Canada. 50% of that comes from the heavy sands, the oil sands. Now, according to the Cambridge Energy Research Associates, it is believed that by the end of 2030, 36% of all the oil coming into the United States come from Canada, and all of that will be oil sands. Where TMK is going to be 48%. It is estimated that oil sands in Canada hold as much oil. Well, it will be the second to the basically Saudi Arabia deposits. So the world shale development. This would be the map of your conventional versus unconventional shales in the world. Now, in the United States, the more drilling they're going to go deeper, and it's going to go longer. It's going to go more lateral. Not only to save the money, it's also to decrease the impact on the environment. Another one is the BUSINESS shale, which is in Russia. It basically stretches approximately 3,200 kilometers from north to south. It is often compared to the Bakken because when the Bakken first came into the United States, nobody really knew what the reserves are. The reserves is what you can recover. They don't really care how much else there is, what you can bring out of the service. Now, it's believed today that the total reserves of the Dajana is 126 trillion barrels of oil equivalent. Now, don't get mistaken, it's not all oil. It would be other carbohydrates, but it all measures in 1 unit of oil equivalent. As I recall the number today, and I hope I'm not mistaken, just to give you an idea of what the number is, I think from the time we started producing oil to today, we only used about 3 to 4 billion barrels. So, as you can see, this is quite a large deposits of natural resources in Russia. So the Russian CS developments, the more, as I mentioned before, the more deeper you're going to go, the more hard environment you're going to have for the product, which would be your tubular products, tubular solutions. In Russia, Lukoil is one of the leading oil producers. It will increase its lateral wells by 40% by the end of this year. The more east you go in Russia, the more necessity is going to be to do lateral wells. If you can see on the bottom right, this is a good example between your brownfield and the greenfield. Consider the greenfield would be your horizontal drilling, and your brownfield would be vertical drilling. This is your recovery factor. This is how much oil and gas you can bring to the service per day and how much money you can recover. So it's a very good, of course, economic factor. It saves not only the environment, it also brings the money to the company that's doing it. The new frontier, the Arctic. Basically, why can we go to the Arctic today? Because the ice in the summer is thinner. In 2007, we saw 2 vessels go to the road. In 2012, we saw already 57 vessels. So we can transport that oil and gas that's recovered back to the shore and to line pipes. It is estimated to be about 15 million tons per year capacity. So I know that we had a map earlier. This is kind of gives you a very good pie chart estimate on what country will basically have what in the Arctic. We can see there's a Norway, there's Iceland, Denmark, Canada, Russia, and the United States. And the gas hydrates. Now, Chris did a really good explanation of what gas hydrates are. Basically, the gas that was caught by the ice. Now, why is it important for TMK IPSCO or TMK, who is just a tubular manufacturer, to do innovation? Is because basically all that hydrocarbons and all of that gas hydrates you're going to get from the many feet below needs to go up to the surface. And it's we're very proud that we are the first Russian manufacturing plant that actually certified our line pipe to be an offshore, and this is one of those offshore experimental wells. And all of that hydrates are going to go through our pipe. Again, thank you very much, and if you have any questions.